At the midnight, Waikyung woke up from a nightmare, feeling tired and stressed. He was worried he would die from the pressure if he didn't resolve his issues soon. His goal was to unite the Murim sect within the Shanxi family, which would allow him to bring them under the command of the Jin family of Taiyuan. He just needed to hold on. Suddenly, he heard the sound of weapons clashing. He got up and opened his door, wondering who would be fighting at this hour. He realized the sound was coming from Mukyung's building. He heard Jin Taekyung yelling, "Log out! Log out," as an attack hit a pillar and broke it. The system then alerted Jin Taekyung that he couldn't log out during combat. Running, Taekyung yelled, "Are you serious? What kind of bullshit is that?" Mukyung appeared behind him and said, "I believe I clearly explained to you what the second rule was." Mukyung yelled, "It's because of you, you shitty bastard, that I almost fell into chi deviation and nearly ruined my meridians." Mukyung continued hitting Taekyung on the training field, but Jin Taekyung just kept yelling, "Log out. Let me log out." He took many hits to his head. Waikyung climbed a wall to watch them, confused. He thought, log out? Chi deviation? Meridian vessels? I have no idea what's going on, but the situation isn't looking good. He considered intervening, but then he noticed Mukyung was pointing out Taekyung's mistakes. Mukyung said, "Why are you leaving your sides completely open? Do you seriously want to get your ass beat? Don't back off just because you got hit. Especially your lower body, make sure to guard it properly." Jin Taekyung got hit on his legs and angrily shouted, "You bastard." He attacked with full force, but Mukyung easily dodged it. Mukyung said, "You lack the basics," instinctively stepping forward and swinging your arms. "You need to fix those shitty habits of yours. Martial arts is for humans, not wild beasts." Mukyung then hit Jin Taekyung's right hand with his wooden sword. Jin Taekyung dropped his sword due to the critical hit and frustratingly clutched his hand. He tried to punch Mukyung, but Mukyung said, "It seems your memory is also lacking." Mukyung delivered a powerful blow and said, "Go to sleep. After you wake up, I will make sure to thoroughly explain the rules to you once more." Jin Taekyung spit blood from the critical hit, then fell unconscious on the training grounds. Mukyung then told Waikyung to come in. Waikyung opened the door with a smile and said, "You knew I was here." Mukyung replied, "It'd be weird if I didn't know. Every time I hit this brat, I could hear you swallowing excessively." Waikyung walked onto the training field and looked at Jin Taekyung. "Thank God, it seems he's not hurt too badly." Mukyung said, "Stop worrying so much. At least he is blessed with an incredible physique. He was able to withstand 4 hours of my beating. With this type of stamina and QI, I am sure he will quickly." He noticed Waikyung's reaction and asked, "Why are you smiling?" Waikyung explained, "I'm just amused. Isn't this the first time you've trained our youngest brother?" Hearing that, Mukyung shivered nervously and looked at Jin Taekyung, thinking, "Huh? Me? Praising this little brat?" Mukyung then denied that he had ever done such a thing. Waikyung smiled and said, "Sure." Mukyung turned and said, "I am being serious right now." Waikyung replied, "Of course, whatever you say." Waikyung thought, "Little brother, I am sure your body will end up suffering quite a bit, but you must endure the pain." Mukyung asked, "Are you still laughing at me?" Waikyung turned his face away and said, "Nope, I did not do such a thing." Mukyung felt nervous looking at Waikyung like this. Waikyung continued to think, "It is commonly known that a prodigy like our second brother will most definitely train you to become much sharper and stronger than ever before. This is all for your sake." As Waikyung was leaving, Mukyung kept asking, "Where are you going? Take this brat with you as well. You should know that I only stopped here today because you were here. If you don't take him back, then you will probably have to send the head physician over here tomorrow." Waikyung told him, "I will be leaving the decision to you," and thought, "Second brother, I am sure this will be a good learning opportunity for you as well." The next day, Jin Taekyung was lying in his room, still in a deep sleep. Suddenly, a voice called him, but he didn't wake up. Then Mukyung yelled, "I already know you are awake." Jin Taekyung quickly said, "Greetings, senior brother," and thought, being weak is a crime. Mukyung noticed Jin Taekyung's reaction and asked, "What's with your eyes? Are you mad about something?" Jin Taekyung instantly put on a smiling face and said, "What's wrong with my eyes, senior brother?" Mukyung angrily said, You better watch yourself." Jin Taekyung respectfully replied, "Yes, sir." Mukyung began, "Anyhow, about yesterday." But before he could finish, Taekyung put Mukyung's hand on his own and said, "It was entirely my fault. I deserved that beating yesterday since I made a loud ruckus while you were in the midst of your training." Mukyung said, "That's not what I was getting at." Taekyung continued, "I'm sure your hands must hurt from hitting me yesterday. Allow me to blow on it and make it feel better." Mukyung pushed his hand away and nervously questioned, "What the hell is wrong with you? Do you have a screw loose or something?" "Whatever, come outside for a bit." Taekyung nervously asked, "To where?" Mukyung replied, "To the training grounds." Hearing that, fear showed on Taekyung's face. He became sweaty and nervously backed into a corner, thinking, "Are you planning to beat me again?" Mukyung said, "I'm not going to hurt you. You are going to be training starting today." Taekyung asked, "Training?" Mukyung looked at him and replied, "That's right. I will properly teach you that shitty martial arts of yours from the ground up." Jin Taekyung still had fearful thoughts. What the hell? A guy that would beat me whenever he felt like it is now saying he wants to help me train? Not to mention. While sacrificing his own training time, seeing Jin Taekyung was still curious, Mukyung said, "Our eldest brother sent you over to me when there are plenty of empty buildings for you to stay at. Of course he did this on purpose. Jin Taekyung was confused and thought, then is he saying Jin Waikyung did all of this on purpose? As Moo-kyung took a deep breath and said, I should have refused him from the start. Taekyung looked at Moo-kyung and thought, your attitude is contradicting itself. It seems you really don't want to train me. Jin Taekyung stood up and thought, I guess I can't give up on this opportunity. He said, then I will be in your care. Senior brother, Moo-kyung warned him, think carefully before you respond. I won't be going easy on you. If you start complaining because the training is too hard, then it's best that you give up right now. Jin Taekyung replied, I wish to become stronger. They looked at each other with serious expressions. Moo-kyung said, then meet me at the training ground. As he walked outside, a system alert appeared for Taekyung, you have unlocked a new quest. Is this actually training or a trial? Objective, gain Jin Moo-kyung's approval. Time left, 9 days 23 hours 51 minutes 10 seconds. Looking at the alert, Taekyung thought, gain Jin Moo-kyung's approval. Let's do this, Moo-kyung told him to bring his spear. Taekyung asked, why do I need that? Moo-kyung replied with a crazy smile, the best type of training comes from real combat experience. You've never heard of that saying before? I have already gotten permission from our eldest brother. He also said that I can summon the head physician as well. Taekyung, with a confused and fearful expression, looked at his brother's crazy smile and said, log out. The system alerted him, you are unable to log out when a quest is in progress. On the training field, a faint light glowed. They both held their weapons. Ready to begin. Taekyung held his spear while Moo-kyung held a wooden sword. Moo-kyung looked at Taekyung and thought, this brat, his entire aura changed as soon as he lifted his spear. Then Moo-kyung said, at least your form isn't bad. Taekyung took an attack position and said, you better prepare yourself. It's not going to be an easy fight. Moo-kyung looked at him with a serious expression, and Taekyung did the same. Suddenly, a blue aura flowed around Taekyung. Seeing this, Moo-kyung gritted his teeth and angrily said, training has begun. He warned Taekyung, I told you, before, make sure your eyes are not wavering.